From the Forgotten Genesis book written by Radu Chinnamar, we learn that about 367,000 years, as a result of genetic experiments undertaken by technologically and spiritually advanced extraterrestrial civilizations, on Earth appeared and developed, at first two types of beings, called ENL beings and ENK beings. The biblical Adam was the first conscious ENL being because the spirit incarnated in Adam's body belonged to a spiritually perfect Syrian extraterrestrial being. ENL beings had a larger and finer biofield, whereas ENK beings had a smaller biofield. The existence and development of ENK beings was reserved mostly for the physical plane, while the development of ENL beings encompassed both the physical plane and the subtle etheric plane. ENL beings were tall, measuring over 2.5 meters, their DNA being mainly of extraterrestrial origin, and secondarily from primates on Earth. These beings had a relatively thin, harmonious and refined body. Their physical beauty was doubled by an extraordinary spiritual value and refinement of consciousness. They had a very sharp intellect and also manifested great paranormal powers, thanks to their highly evolved DNA. By comparison, ENK beings, who came from primates whose DNA was mostly earthly and secondary alien, they were shorter than ENL beings, did not have the same spiritual and intellectual gifts, but instead were more vital, and their body was more muscular and equipped for physical effort. ENK beings developed more slowly, because they didn't have as much extraterrestrial DNA infusion as ENL beings, and most didn't have any. The legends of demigods are mostly born of true events, and they refer to human beings, with hybrid genes, between ENL and ENK, who had special powers and attributes. In the Forgotten Genesis book it says, the so-called demigods had ENK bodies, but their gene belonged to the ENL branch, due to their combination with alien DNA. Through repeated sexual interbreeding, some very tall beings developed, up to 3 to 4 meters, and, generally speaking, that was the period of giants on Earth, some of their skeletons being discovered relatively recently in several areas of the planet. The civilization we now call Homo sapiens is a phylum between most of the ENK branch and the remaining parts of the ENL branch, or hybridizations between them. Currently, most human civilization is ENK. This is because ENL beings have withdrawn from the physical plane.